Hey folks, so I want to take a few minutes and talk to you guys about the 40k 8th edition Q&A that GW did earlier today. And I'm pretty excited with what's come from that. They were able to, within an hour, go through a number of different questions and really give us a bit of insight into what to expect with 40k. Now, I'm just going to try and be as brief and concise as possible, but there's only so much information that we were given. There's 3 different styles of play. There's a free form where you just bring whatever you want and go for it. There's a more cinematic play, and in that there's actually point values for units. And it's just like you buy units in a block, and you just try and balance out your armies according to that. And then there's more of a competitive play aspect where you actually develop your list using much more points values that we're accustomed to, where you buy your units and you buy the equipment within those units and so on. There's 14 different force organization charts within the main rulebook, and there will probably be other ones for different types of armies and stuff like that too. When you build to these force organization charts, if you're very rigid and stay within the force organization chart and you complete all of the requirements, you'll get something called command points. And these command points basically give you the ability to use special, I guess really abilities throughout different phases of your game. They can only be used once per phase, and essentially the more fluffy, from what it sounds like the army is, the more command points you get. We also have movement values. Those are back, which is pretty exciting. So those more nimble units can move a lot quicker. We also have, and then of course the more heavier units are going to be a little bit slower. A big change is going to be units can pretty much damage anything. We don't have circumstances where your last guns or your splinter weapons can't damage a tank. So basically vehicles are going to have wounds very similar to monstrous creatures. And what's really cool about that is as these vehicles and monstrous creatures get damaged, they lose their effectiveness as the game kind of progresses. Charging units, it sounds like they strike first. Weapons get armor modifiers, so that's very second edition, very similar to the movement values as well. We also have, let's see here, vehicles are going to have wounds now. We have templates, they've been removed, which is pretty exciting. Templates can be really cumbersome. I know they look really cool and they force a lot of people to kind of maneuver their units around and stuff like that. But what's really cool about removing these is that it's going to take a lot of that guesswork and it's going to speed up play, which is always very important in a big game like 40k, is streamlining and really trying to get the gameplay speed up and the length of the games down, so you can get more fun games in a day. It's great for tournament play for sure. It's been play tested significantly, so they've had the guys from Frontline Gaming involved. They've had Adepticon folks involved. They've done a tremendous amount of play testing, which is very exciting. When it comes to the rule books, the rule book is going to be available online. You can also purchase for a limited time the actual physical copy, and same thing with codex. So now, one thing for sure is all of our rule books right now and our codices are pretty much going to be invalid. So it's going to be similar to the change from second edition to third edition, where you just the old stuff didn't translate anymore to the current edition, so you had to basically replace everything. Which is normal when we do move into a new edition anyways. It's just going to be, instead of over time, it's just everything's done all at once, which is really kind of nice. Everyone's starting off in that level playing field. What else do we have? They're building a list building app. It's still in development right now, so it won't be available at launch. Stats aren't capped at 10, so you can have an ridiculous amount of wounds on certain things. So I think, like for example, the Night Titans, those things are supposed to have a significant amount of wounds. When we're talking about allies, allies are still in, although what's really cool is when you use certain abilities for units, they only affect the specific faction that unit belongs to. So that might eliminate a lot of the Death Stars where we had multi-factions working together to create these unstoppable armies. So that's a good thing. And then, of course, one huge thank you for GW for doing this, because I know a lot of my friends and stuff like that have been a little bit concerned about this with the new release, is that their books are no longer valid. Usually GW has a 4-week return policy. Well, they've extended that to 8 weeks from the initial Saturday announcement of 8th edition. So that's pretty much it. There have been a few other things kind of mentioned throughout. Yeah, independent characters can still join units. Things like terrain value, or terrain is going to have some very specific rules involved in them too. So I think it's a really good thing. I'm very excited for 8th edition. Now what I want to do is I want to hear what you guys think of some of these announcements. Is there anything in addition that I haven't covered in this? Because I know there has been a lot announced. I tried to capture as much as I could as they were going through. So let me know what you guys think of 8th Ed. Are you guys excited? Because I sure am. I think we need this, and I think it's going to be good. And GW has been listening to the community, and I think this is probably going to be one of the best editions yet. So thanks so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.